You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From Los Angeles, California, and Maria Menounos, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On. Spotlight On is a long-form interview series featuring actors and TV personalities. And now, from the world's #1 TV after-show platform, this is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On.
Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another episode of AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On with over 27 million. That's a lot of downloads, weekly downloads. We are your #1 source for after-show entertainment. And I'm your host, Erika Garcia Rojas, and I am so excited to introduce our special guest for tonight, the very handsome Jeff Timmons. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, which I highly suggest that you do, you will probably recognize him from a super popular 90s, 2000 boy band, 98 Degrees. Jeff also had a successful solo career, and most recently, he created and developed a Broadway-style male dance show, Men of the Strip, which is being chronicled on E! This Sunday on the Men of the Strip reality show, in which Jeff is the star of. Well, Jeff, welcome.
Wow, that's quite an intro. I
You're
love
quite
that.
a guy, multi-talented,
That's
singer,
really nice. Thank you.
Singer, dancer, father of 5 kids.
Yes, you know, I'm very busy and very tired, as
Yes.
I probably appear on camera.
No,
too
you
bad they
don't
don't
look
have
tired.
video Photoshop yet.
Yeah,
You know?
I think you're fine.
Thank
so
you.
I have to say I'm a huge 98 Degrees fan. So
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited to have you here. I was one of those teeny boppers at your concerts, screaming. I probably saw you guys in concert about 4 or 5 times.
And I can tell you that I love every second of that right now. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I mean, you
I'm
know,
like, yes.
it never gets old. I mean, I've been around some of the other boy band guys, or just like celebrities in general, that are like, oh, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
Or they act like it's totally cool, and I love it. I love
Yeah.
every second, especially when pretty women tell me that you
Yeah.
know they were fans and stuff like
Oh.
that. It's always flattering. That's why we got into it in the first place. You know, It was
Right?
so girls,
Me girls.
would tell you, yeah, how cool you are. So now that I'm in my twilight years, you know, in my 40s, it's still cool to hear
It's
that.
still
so.
cool. You don't look much older than you did back
Thank
then.
you. I
So you're doing
appreciate that.
something right. So okay, so from sweet, lovable boy band to a male stripper.
Not quite.
Okay.
That's sort of the way it's been portrayed in the press. I mean,
Okay.
a couple of years back, you know, all the boy band and the boy bands were gone. The pop music had gone away, and there was a transition in music, of course, you know,
Yeah.
like it always is, especially here in the States. And all that whole entire genre, the pop R&B stuff, the mainstream genre was kind of gone and forced out. Mainstream media was just sick of it. It was oversaturated. So it was really hard for me to get gigs, especially as a solo artist. You know, they were like, your music's done. You're getting too old. You only appealed to teens, and now they're over you. And so I started producing music, and I had started a large family, and was at home a lot and doing stuff in that regards. And for a while, I struggled, and I went through a bad divorce, and so I was like, man, what am I going to do? I got remarried to this wonderful woman, and you know, I was talking 98 Degrees. We were going to get back together. It sort of fell through, and then finally, I got approached to do I'd been getting approached to do the Chippendales in Las Vegas for years to host, MC, and headline. And my wife was like, go check it out. I was like, hell no, I'm not going to do this. You know, people are going to think I'm a stripper now. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
And so I went and checked out the show, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. Obviously, the guys, part of the gimmick of the show is that they take their clothes off to an extent, but it was a well choreographed show. Now, it was a little bit cheesy. You know, the guys were a little older, but nonetheless, I went and did it. Broke box office records at Vegas as the host.
So you did as a host. So you didn't dance.
I didn't dance in the show.
Did you sing?
I sang throughout the entire show, though.
Oh, so you
I did all the
sang.
98
Okay.
Degrees stuff, some new stuff, and we ultimately sold out my run, and people, you know, we got a ton of press after it, and people started offering me all kinds of stuff, and I think the success from that was the catalyst for 98 Degrees getting back together,
Yeah.
and then we got back together and did the package tour and all that stuff, and then I thought, well, you know, the Chippendales is cool, but why can't we make a cooler, souped up, more well-produced, make the guys a little sleeker, not so bodybuilder-esque, more production in the show, and keep adding more musicality to the show. And I think with that combination, you have sort of that appeal to folks like yourself that like the boy bands, and then you have the sex appeal of the guys that are complete studs on stage, but dancing well. And so we created Men of the Strip.
And I read too that you guys were kind of inspired, or maybe, I don't know if you came before or after the whole Magic Mike thing too.
Yeah, well, you know, when I was with the Chips for my run, they kept extending me and extending me, extending me. The Chips, yeah, I call them the Chips. That's their,
Chips.
that's the insider term for them. Anyway, yeah, I kept getting extended with them, and I was like, man. I went to them and approached them. I said, you know what? What really fascinated me about the whole thing, obviously it wasn't the show part of it, but I was really enamored by the guys behind the scenes, how quirky they were, how cool they were, and all the preconceived ideas I had about them were out the window. I mean, these guys were family guys, or guys that were doing it to get through school, or just guys that were party animals, and the combination of them and how they fought and how they got along was very interesting to me. And even on top of that, how girls responded to them was interesting to me. I drew a lot of parallels for the boy band days and this. These guys were treated like rock stars. Girls would do anything to meet them, and you know, these guys really knew how to handle it, and they were local superstars in Las Vegas. So I was like, you know, I went to the ownership and management of the Chippendales, and I said, hey, look, what if we take these guys and try to get a reality show with them? Went and shopped it, had some serious interest from some major networks, but the Chippendales has been an established brand for years, and you know, I don't know whether they were afraid of doing it, whether they thought that I might try and take control of it. For whatever reason, the bureaucracy behind it prevented me from doing that.
Yeah. So did you have an offer or anything at any point? Or
yeah, I mean, we had some offers from some big popular television cable networks.
Wow, and they turned it down.
And they kind of avoided pursuing it, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And I was puzzled. But I sat back and I was like, well, we'll make there needs to be a cooler version of this anyway.
Yeah.
There needs to be a more musical version of it anyway. The dancing needs to be better. The guys got to be cooler, more diverse. And so I decided to create another one. I was pretty impressed by some of the choreography that was in the Chippendale show. So I had asked some folks, who did that? This number or this particular number, and they've referred me to Glenn Douglas Packard, who's a world famous choreographer. He's worked with Michael Jackson, Ricky Martin. We did the 25th anniversary Michael Jackson special with him. So I got with Glenn and I said, hey man, what do you think about starting a really mainstream, like let's go get these guys on this kind of stuff, these kinds of shows, and make it mainstream. He was like, I've been trying to do it for years, got with some other partners, and we created Men of the Strips. Then Magic Mike came out, and that was perfect for us because all the taboo elements of this were out the window because Magic Mike, Channing Tatum, it's now mainstream box office chart-topping movie with a sequel coming out. So now what was taboo for girls and always cool for guys to have for fun was, you know, something that was right there in the open for girls to go and indulge in.
So how long ago did you create Men on the Strip?
I think the idea from the four of us getting together and say, we're going to do this and here's how we're going to do it, it's almost 2 years ago. So not long, creating the idea, casting the guys, putting the guys on tour, getting them ready for a show, and then going and shopping it for TV and now getting on TV. People would be like, wow, that was a long time. But
no,
you know,
quick.
in this business,
quick.
it was like, you know, it happened fast.
So you created the Men on the Strip first and then shopped the whole thing out to the different networks.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Okay. And now, you say
no, I was.
So now you're picked up, and so this part of what E is chronicling, right now it's just a docudrama, just Sunday night.
That's
correct?
right, just a movie to start,
Okay.
2-hour movie to start.
And is it the hope that you guys are going to pick up?
That's the hope, of course. Yeah, you want to have a series.
Yeah,
you know, because ultimately we have a stage show that's incredible with these guys, and the bells and whistles are great. The lights, the production, the video, the guys dancing, their routines are incredible. The costumes, the guys themselves. I mean, all that's cool. The music they sing, you know, just things that you wouldn't normally expect. You know, in some of the reviews, the guys sing one guy sings a couple songs, and then they strip to this or do that. This is a total experience, and so yeah, we had the ideas. Yeah, get this thing on TV, and that will act as a driver for the live show. Blow it up in a live show, and it reacts as a driver for the TV show, and hopefully we're going to be able to do that with this movie.
I think it totally does appeal to that fan of the boy band because I was watching some clips and trying to kind of get myself familiar with it. I was like, I can actually see wanting to go see this. I never in a million years say, I'm the first person to say I do not want to go to a male strip club.
Right.
Like, no, ew, gross. No. But I saw this. I'm like, it's like boy bands on steroids.
That's exactly what it is. And I've said
Yeah.
that before, too.
Yeah.
And then they told me to stop saying that because people will really think they're on steroids.
you're right.
But yeah, so the guys were like, hey, can you guys
That's
stop?
true.
Can you stop saying we already get accused already? I'm like, yeah, no problem,
That's
man.
true.
Yeah, you know, so,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and that's what my wife's a fan of boy bands, not our era.
Yeah.
She's a New Kids fan. And
Yeah.
she's like, look, if Donnie Wahlberg came out and I thought that he was going to have any part of this, I'd go see it. You know,
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see it. I wouldn't go see a male review, but with that element injected into it, I would go check it out. And that's what happened. We drew a whole new light to the thing when I was in there because I was just singing, hosting it. The guys are classy. It's funny.
Yeah.
You know, girls get crazy. It's their night out. It's nothing too over the top, too raunchy. And, you know, I think the movie takes things a little bit kind of over the top. But with
That's
us.
reality TV.
Right. We push
You
it.
have to have the drama.
We push it a little bit, but not too far in the
Yeah.
live show.
So you obviously are kind of a newbie to the whole reality TV world.
Yeah.
Your other 98 Degrees bandmates, Nick Lachey.
My cohorts.
Your cohorts,
Yes.
they've done it, and Drew did the whole Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Did you talk to them before doing this?
Well, Nick, you know, look, once Nick went on the Newlyweds, he was in the stratosphere. So,
Yes, he was
you know, he was on a whole
huge.
nother level. That was like one of the most popular cable TV reality shows in history. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him too much about it. You know, and Drew did Dancing with the Stars, and that's different than being followed 24 hours
Yeah.
a day. What I did was a very not well received, short-lived reality series on VH1 called Mission Man Band, where they took different guys from different groups, boy bands, Color Me Bad, Brian Abrams, Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC, myself from 98 Degrees, and Rich Cronin from LFO. They put us together to try to create a super group. But the premise of it was sort of and I was sort of like apprehensive about doing it because I knew it was going to be kind of in an ugly manner to sort of make fun of us.
Yeah.
But they had talked about it, me doing it for so long that I thought, you know what, Brian Abrams really can sing. And so can Chris. And Rich actually was very clever as an MC. So it might work. You know, let's not leave it up to the network. Let's leave it to us to go do it and do our thing. And, you know, while we tried to make it a success, you know, they were kind of trying to make us corny. So we didn't agree with any of the scenarios that they were doing. So we would just sit around his house all day and let him just film us hanging out. So it didn't work, but I was familiar with being around cameras 24
Okay.
hours a day.
So you've done it before. Did that show ever air?
It did.
did? Oh.
Yeah.
And I
wish
did
it
a
didn't.
bunch of research
No,
on you,
it
too.
didn't air. Yeah, I know.
I didn't find it.
It did air, but just not long. Yeah,
Okay.
like I think it was 7 episodes. It was
Okay.
because it was boring.
Yeah.
You know what we wanted to show was, you know, Chris Kirkpatrick's a party animal. You know, after the cameras would shut down, I mean, the guy had a stripper pole in his house, and he would like bus in girls
Yeah,
from Central
that's what you
Florida,
wanna see.
and you'd see what's going on
Yeah.
behind the scenes. But they wanted us to be like brooding and going, "Oh, our career's over. What are we gonna do?" And all the girls that were our fans, they don't want to see that.
Yeah, they
So
don't.
it didn't work. But and we
Because it
knew
makes you
wasn't.
feel old, too.
Well, it makes the audience feel
Yeah.
old. It makes them look like, you know, we had so many fans. I mean, one of the biggest groups in the world at one point. They don't want to see that, like, you know, when they were 12, looking up to somebody, them going through struggles.
Yeah.
And so we weren't really going through struggles. So we don't want to portray going through struggles on TV. So it didn't work. But I did
So
have
you're
that
familiar.
experience. So it was
Got
cool.
So was there, like, it sounded like there was drama going on with the whole
Well,
strip.
with these guys, I mean, you have competitive guys. I mean, they didn't start off as male dancers. I mean, some of these guys were athletes. We have like one former professional football player,
Oh, wow.
a guy
Okay.
aspiring to be a WWE cast character, an MMA guy. We have some seasoned veteran strippers in the
Any
mix.
Chippendale guys that you
a
poached?
couple of guys.
Okay.
We actually didn't want to poach the Chippendales guys. We had a couple of guys that had been kind of disenfranchised by their brand and had left long before we started this, but they were good guys. They were some of the good ones.
Yeah.
And people were like, well, they left. You know, those were the good guys. Those guys came and auditioned, but they had to go through the same process everybody else did for the audition process. And, you know, we ended up with I didn't cast the guys. You know, I don't know which guys would work for girls like you. You know, I know which guys sounded good when they sang.
Yeah.
I noticed which guys could move, but I didn't know what girls like to look at. So Glenn was really good at that. You know, he was like, oh, I need a Latin guy. I need a boy next next door
Yeah, they
guy.
had like every flavor of the rainbow.
That's right.
I saw it. I'm like, okay, they've got every single type, well, except a guy who's not in shape and, you know, scrawny or whatever. These guys are ripped.
They're all ripped.
Like crazy ripped.
They're all ripped. I mean, a couple, you know, one of the guys, our singer guy, he's not super jacked up, but he's just sleek. You know, and Glenn didn't want like gigantic. If you've seen some of these male reviews, these guys are all jacked up. They look
and I
like
think
bodybuilders.
it's so unattractive. That's why when I see it, they look all oily and like it just seems sleazy.
Right, and a
But
lot
these
of
guys are hot.
well, yeah, I mean, and girls think so too.
Yeah.
And you know, I never knew. I was like, that guy's not good. And
Yeah.
they're like, what? That guy's awesome. Or I pick guys that were just funny and make me laugh. And they're like, yeah, but he's 5'2"
Yeah.
and he weighs 300 pounds. He'll never make it on stage.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But all I know is I wanted to add that singing element, that really make it like a boy band. And these guys did like a boy band medley in the showcase. And when we did it at the end, the crowd went crazy.
So
you know?
any like weird, unexpected drama things that happen, like
Well,
without giving too much away,
yeah,
but just
I mean,
something fun.
you'll have that. I think that
Maybe something that didn't air or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that didn't air. And there's stuff. I mean, he's already doing us a favor by putting it on
Yeah.
and kind of giving us the creative and not manipulating the creative too much
Yeah.
to make it too vanilla. And it already is much more vanilla, you know, than it really is. So I mean, they're pushing the envelope with it. For
Well,
cables,
give us a little something that.
I mean, look. I mean, for instance, these guys, you know, you're not allowed to be fully nude, and we don't want that anyway in the show.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they were sometimes get down to the skivvies or
Yeah.
something in some of the scenarios or whatever, and so they have to make sure that they wear certain things in case there are wardrobe malfunctions.
Yeah.
So there's a point where these guys, I wasn't in during the scene clearly, but there's a point in there where these guys get measured, you know, for this clothing, and it's funny because they're surprised. They're like, "What are you doing? Why am I? You know,
they
is this
get
happening?"
measured on their
They get measured.
private
Yeah,
parts?
exactly. Yeah.
measure their private parts?
Yeah, they measure it for their for this thing.
For a special little costume.
Yeah,
or
that's
maybe-
right. For
yeah.
a little costume that they wear underneath their costume in case something happens.
Who measures them?
Not me. I mean, I wasn't even there. It makes you certainly, you know, when you first see these guys. Again, when
Yeah.
people first tune in, it's going to be all about they're strippers, they're strippers, they're
Mm-hmm.
strippers. And then maybe after about the first 15 minutes, you start to forget all about it.
they're
You start
performers.
to look at them as characters
Mm-hmm.
and what they're doing and looking at them and what they say and some of the goofy ways they act. And then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot they're strippers. So the premise of the show is that they're strippers, but the real premise of the show are the guys, you know, and how they act. I mean, that's just like Duck Dynasty. You don't
Yeah.
they don't sit there and you don't talk about their, you know, products from their company and their business the whole time. It's about the quirky characters in the show. That's why it's such a success.
Yeah, and you think that hopefully that it reads well to the audience and it gets picked up for
Yeah, absolutely.
a full season.
Yeah, and we have a good feeling it's going to. You know, we're trying to get those ratings, and you guys are doing us a big favor by putting us on your show. It gets 28 million downloads a week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to help a lot. So we've been pounding the pavement, making sure we're drumming up enough information about it. We took them on a promotional tour right after the package tour.
Okay.
And we did a small 42-city tour with these guys.
not that small.
Yeah, it's small. The venues are small.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
venues are really small. No,
Okay.
it was a long tour, trust me. I just got done doing 50 cities with the package tour.
Oh, my
And then I
God.
went on 42 cities with these guys.
Holy cow.
And we've been touring ever since. I mean, it's been a long year, and then the filming
So
and all
kind
that.
of a grassroots, kind of getting the word out about you guys.
Yeah, what we did was, 98 Degrees back in the day, we wrapped a Winnebago when we first got signed because we're on Motown. They didn't really know what to do with a bunch of white guys on there. So we went out and wrapped our pictures on a Winnebago and drove it to cheerleading camps and Backstreet Boys concerts and let people become aware of us like that. We did that with these guys, only we got them a grand tour bus. And these guys come rolling up in a rock star tour bus with their pictures on the side with them flexing all over the
Yeah,
place.
you're like, who
and they're
are these
immediate
guys?
rock stars. They're like, what's going on? We're in Flint, Michigan, and the tour bus is surrounded by girls who don't even know who we are. And I'm like, that's a good start, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that's good. And it's kind of like an old school way of doing things.
it's an
right?
old school way that works.
Yeah.
And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to get these guys acclimated to the hype before they were on TV. So it wouldn't blow their minds, this sudden rise to fame. So, and we wanted to give them an opportunity to build up their own individual brands, like boy bands have their own fans for each guy. It's the same for this. Some girls like the Latin guy. Some girls like the blonde guy. Some girls like the singer. So these guys all have have built up their own social media, and they've start to get fan bases of their own. It's been pretty interesting.
It is interesting because you took the entire concept of what made boy bands so popular back in the day, kind of, and applied it to your business now.
That's it. It's not brain science. It's not brain surgery. I just took a model. I took a model and said, all right, this worked for us. It'll work for these guys, especially after Magic Mike came out. It's really hot. It's a mainstream topic. There's a documentary about Le Bears, which is a strip brand, much different than ours, but also a successful brand. You know, the Chippendales they were talking about making a movie about the Chippendales and how it got started. And of course, Magic Mike 2's coming out. So it's no longer taboo. It's kind of cachet and it's cool right now. So
and I do think that there is something missing in music, like which the boy band pop thing filled.
Yeah.
Because I was a teenager when that all was out, and it was fun, and it was innocent in a way, but it was a lot of fun. And today the teenagers, it makes me sound old, but they're listening to EDM and all that, which is, it's great in its own way, but that is missing.
Well, there's a lot of vocal elements missing out of that,
Yeah,
you know,
there is.
and there are not very many ballads out, and so, you know, look, I went and produced a song with these guys singing it. It's a boy band-esque song that we're going to release the night of the premiere that people can go out and check out, and if they like the way they sound doing it on the show, they can get the song, you know?
That's right. So you guys are going to do the whole music component of it too, the
we
soundtrack
really are.
and all that.
And that's the part that really attracts me to it, among all the other things, and just it being an edgy kind of, you know, maverick thing for me to do. I like to think outside of the box, you know, and you know, I'm not a big company guy, but you know, I thought that, you know, look, let's put this on, see if we can get this on TV. I bet you everybody will like it. So I think everybody's going to like it, and I think it's not just for girls. The live shows is definitely tailored for girls.
Yeah.
Glenn, who is an openly gay guy, wanted to make sure that it was tailored for the girls, that the girls could get their girls' fantasy night out. So he picked the guys that would be perfect for that. But the show, it's for everybody. Guys are going to be like, oh, let's watch these guys, you know, these chumps. And then they're going to be like, oh, that dude's cool. Oh, man, he's a pro football. I remember he played in college. And, you know, like, they're gonna find out they're just dudes, you know, like everybody else.
So it's more like just like a performance, basically.
It is.
Singing and dancing. And are you dancing and doing the whole thing?
No,
or no?
heck no.
You're not in it at all.
I'm not in it that much at all.
Okay.
Like, I'm in the live show. I'm peppered in here and there doing some music. I sing a number with the guys. I do some other numbers that, you know, nostalgic numbers that get the crowd up out of their seats. You know, one thing about the traditional male review is, you know, girls are sitting down at cocktail tables, and it's like there's like 80 people in the audience. And, you know, when I got to the Chippendales, I was like, hell no. Look, I'm used to having the crowd up out of their seats, get those tables out of here. We're going to pack it. The line's going to be out the door. Like, the philosophy's got to be different, because these guys will have much more energy if they're feeding off the fans rather than them sitting there watching and all that stuff. And so we made it like a rock concert, and this one is really like a rock concert. The lighting, the sound, the music, it's on a whole nother
Makes
level.
me want to go see it. I want to go see that
Good.
show.
I think you'll like it.
I was just in Vegas. I should have saw it.
It's not. We don't have a residency there yet.
Oh,
yeah.
you don't have a residency in Vegas.
No.
Oh.
Part of the thing with the show is we're
Figuring
doing it.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
When it goes to series, now we did part of the show is we do a finale and a showcase in Vegas, and I'm not going to give too much out about it. And we did it really well there.
Okay.
You know, so we have had offers to go into Vegas now.
Okay.
But the show wants it to be part of the show, and obviously we want to keep the network happy, and we want that 2-hour or hour commercial weekly on there for these guys. So we're going to kind of do what they do. In the meantime, we're going to tour. We're going to take these guys back on tour. They're doing bigger places now, no longer small dingy clubs, selling out 800, 900,000 seat venues now, which is unheard of in this genre.
Yes.
And you know, these guys are growing by the day without any TV show on, just by what we're building with it and what they're building on their own.
Yeah, it's smart. I think what you're doing is smart.
Thanks.
It's totally a good idea.
It was risky. I was a little nervous about it, you know, but it's also like when I quit college to start 98 Degrees with these guys, you know, that was risky too. I was almost done with getting my degree. Okay, now I'm going to go quit school and go to LA from Ohio. But you know, sometimes you get a gut feeling. You got to take risks, calculated risks, and give it a shot.
That is interesting. Let's talk a little bit about that. So you were I read this, you were almost done with college.
Yeah.
Like, what were you, like, one semester away?
I was a quarter away. Not even a semester. I was a quarter away from graduating
and getting a degree?
A psych degree, yeah.
Oh, my God.
You know, I always did pretty well in school and you know, all that stuff, a lot of activities. I went to college, really. I wanted to play football, too small. I played in college, small college, but that dream was, like, you realize, okay, this is the end.
Yeah.
You give it up. I transferred to this school, to that school, and so I finally went to a big school just to finish out my education. And I just didn't. I'm an advocate for staying in school, but I just was like, man, I know I can do something creative, and I don't need to pay all this money to go to school to learn stuff I already pretty much know. And
They're
I just
a quarter
never.
away.
I know.
Crazy.
And my dad, our whole lives was like, you're going to school. You're going to
Yeah.
graduate school. You're going to do this. And I just remember being in college going, you know what, I like hanging out with my friends, and I think I can make money doing this, or I can do this instead. And so,
So you're like always kind of a hustler, not a hustler, but
yeah, it's a hustler.
Yeah.
It's a hustler mentality. It's always like, okay, I like to study stuff and go, well, all right, that's a success story, but it's really inside of the box. What happens if you venture out this way? It might not work, but what goes on out here? There's a whole other element of this that isn't explored.
Yeah.
And I find like some of the most successful people that I admired and I was reading about always were thinking way outside of the box. Like some of them didn't even graduate high school, or some of them failed out of grade school and all of a sudden invented something amazing. So I was like, well, let's explore more possibilities. And, you know, I was at school and a party and with some of my other friends that didn't ultimately end up being in 98 Degrees. And some girls asked us if we wanted to sing, and we sang to them, and it sounded really good. I mean, obviously
Like at a party?
At a party.
You just broke out in song?
Well, I had some experience in choir with 4-part harmony and stuff, and these girls really wanted us to sing, and of course there were a bunch of girls there, and I was in college guy
and you're
and
like, yeah.
drinking beer, and I was like, sure, let's go. So I went to the bathroom with the guys. I was like, you sing this, practice this, practice this, practice this part. I'll sing this part. We practiced like 3 times. Went out sang it for the girls, and to see the reaction of 20-some girls that are like not even talking to us about 15 minutes before, and after we sang was like, I was like, I like how this works.
You're like,
I
got it.
want to do this for a living. And I mean, I immediately had a strong feeling about it, not just because of the reaction, but something sounded great about it. And I called my mom. I said, I'm done. I'm not doing school anymore. I'm going to go to LA. I'm going to be a singer. She's like, okay, honey, call me when you sober up. And so I said,
were serious.
I said, I'm dead serious. I'm done. You will not see me going back to school. I'll pay you back, whatever I got to do. And she was like, all right, well, we support you. And my dad was like, you can always go back to school. He was like, whatever, follow your dream, be cool. And
Did
it was
you
crazy.
leave into LA with like any kind of leads, or did you just say,
Nope.
I'm just going?
No,
And where were you before?
I was at Kent State in
Okay,
Ohio.
in Ohio,
Yeah,
yes.
I was in Ohio, and you know, quit school that night. And I got a keyboard, and I didn't know how to play keys, so I numbered the keys. Would listen to Boyz II Men, All for One, Shy, Jodeci, and I would part their parts out using the numbers on the keyboard, and I would practice with these guys all day long. And all our friends were like, we're from a small town. All our friends were like, you guys are losers. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're never, ever, the chances are like 1 in a million. You're never going to do it. And I used to get really mad about that. And it would just drive me a
You're
little bit more.
crushing my dream.
Yeah, I would just be like, shut up. And, you know, we left school. We were like, all right, let's go to Cali. And
So you got all the guys to go.
Yeah.
How many guys were there?
There were 4 guys.
So all 4 of you guys quit school?
we got into a Reliant K car and
Wow.
drove across country to Northern California. My dad had just got transferred there, so my parents said, "Yeah, you can stay with us for a couple weeks before you go to LA." We went there, and keeping the guys together was a chore. I mean, they wanted to quit every day. They were all homesick. I mean, we were out there a month. They were like, "No record deal yet?" I'm like,
Yeah.
just give it a shot,
Yeah.
you know, give it some time. But ultimately, we went to LA. We were about to get signed, and the guys I started the group with went back for Thanksgiving and quit. And they didn't come
They were
back.
about to get signed for a record
Yeah,
deal, and they just quit.
They gave up on it. They quit. So I started over. I started to start over. So
And you found
I found the guys that are in the group now.
So
I
Nick
got
Lachey, Drew
introduced
Lachey,
Nick, Drew, and Justin.
and Justin.
Yeah, and we started
how
out
did you
there.
did the record company put you guys together?
No,
or-
no, that's not what happened. I was doing security at clubs and things like odd jobs and putting ads out. I couldn't find anybody that had all the things that I wanted, and I met a guy that was also from Ohio, and he went to school with Nick, and he's like, hey man, you know, I know a guy that's got a great voice that would be great for this. And Nick was in school, and he gave me this tape. For those at home,
Yeah.
it's about this big. Anyway, so
Yeah.
again,
Well, do they know what tapes are?
nobody knows what a tape is. A tape? They're going to be
Yeah.
Googling it.
I know.
What's that?
It's a tape.
Yeah, and so he gave me a tape, and I popped in and heard Nick. I thought he was amazing. I had him call him up on the phone, and I was like, you need to come out here. I got a bunch of leads. I almost got signed. Nick quit school, came out a couple months later. The guy that introduced me was in the group. We brought Justin out, and Justin came out, quit school, came out to LA, and then the guy that introduced me to all of them quit and decided to be an actor. And he's never been on anything. And then we brought Drew in, Nick's brother, and then we started the group. That was it.
Wow. And then the rest is history.
The rest is history.
And then you guys were you guys like, you see in those movies where this, young group of guys get together and like in a few months, then they're uber famous and their lives are like forever changed?
We got together in, I think it was June or July of 95, and we were signed by August.
Okay.
So 2 months together. I was with the other guys for about a year. They quit. These guys came out. We had synergy immediately. We sang everywhere a cappella. And started getting a lot of attention. We went to Boyz II Men concert, snuck backstage, and got discovered there singing
really?
a cappella. And we wanted to be just like Boyz II
So
Men.
you went to backstage at a Boyz II Men concert, you
Right.
snuck backstage and randomly broke into song backstage?
That's exactly what we did. We
Really?
Well, Boyz II Men got signed doing that same thing, and
Okay.
we admired Boyz II Men. And we liked their sound, and we wanted to be on Motown like them. And so we were like, well, let's go to a Boyz II Men concert. So we went to Boyz II Men concert, sang backstage. There was a local radio station, urban station, put us on the radio. Then Boyz II Men kept walking back and forth backstage
these
before the concert.
guys?
Who are these guys? And Montel Jordan, who wrote, did This Is How We Do It. It's an old school song. I don't know if you know that one.
This
He was
is
there.
How we do
Yeah, you sing it, you even sing it as well as he does. And they saw us, and we went and watched the concert. We actually got approached by the radio station, said, we'll introduce you to Boyz II Men after, come back after, but we forgot the passes.
Oh.
So we watched it, and then we had to sneak backstage again, and we didn't meet Boyz II Men, but we met Montel's road manager, and he connected us, and then we got signed to
Wow.
Motown. Yeah,
That's
just like they did.
awesome.
It was like a dream come true. It was really cool.
That's a cool story. And so fast forward later, where a year ago, or was it 2013, when you reunited with 98 Degrees?
Yeah.
And then you toured with Boyz II Men.
Best ever. It's like
Yeah?
a dream. I mean, you couldn't dream it better. And oddly, they opened up for us, which they should have. Yeah, it should not be, in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, not to desecrate my own band or say that we're not great, but Boyz II Men, I idolize that group. I think
Wow, they're
fantastic.
amazing.
They're one of the best groups of all time.
I think so, too.
And so I just think that's the way they put it together because of the fan base or whatever. But Boyz II Men opened up for us, and I just could never imagine that in my wildest dreams while I was in my basement listening to the music going, I'm gonna have a group like this. I have a group like this
Yeah.
that they would be sharing the stage with us, and it was the best tour of my life. I had more fun, no pressure. We weren't pressured to have a hit single on the radio. We weren't pressured to sell tickets. It was sold out,
How many cities was the tour?
49.
49.
49
So it
cities.
was you reunited with 98 Degrees,
Yeah.
new Kids on the Block reunited,
Yep.
and then Boyz II Men, and all three of you guys decided to tour
That's it.
together.
Yeah.
Wow.
And 98 Degrees hadn't been together for 13 years plus. So we hadn't had the right scenario that would drive us all from what we were doing together to do this. And when they said, New Kids on the Block wants you to tour with them, well, they had been having tremendous success in their reunion. So we were like, that's something to think about. At least people will be there. We'll be selling tickets. And then when they said Boyz II Men, we were like, let's do it. Done. Let's go.
So then you guys all reunited again.
We did,
So
yeah.
so New Kids on the Block was already touring, and then they kind of reached out to you guys, said, would you guys consider?
Yeah, they had been touring. They did a reunion tour of their own, which was
Okay.
extraordinarily successful, and they toured for a couple years. And then they added, it might have started to lose its effect, so they added the Backstreet Boys, and that did well. And then they decided, okay, let's do it again. And then this time add 98 Degrees and Boyz II Men, and then that was a success. So
Yeah.
smart guys, the New Kids.
Yeah.
they're-
So the tour was successful?
it was great. It sold out every night.
Really?
Every night. 20,000 people a night. Arenas all over the country.
Wow.
And I mean, I couldn't imagine, 98 Degrees, we ended suddenly because 9/11 happened and we hadn't finished our tour. We all went and were with our families and we were tired. And our fan base, they break up or they're mad at each other. We were like, okay, let's give them something to really talk about here. If we go out, there's no better way for us to go out. It's a sold out tour in front of about 1 million people over summertime, and our families were with us, and we got to share that with them.
That's cool.
So it was awesome. I mean, it was
Yeah.
cool. I watched Boyz II Men every night. I watched them every night.
And so did you guys released new music, though?
We did.
right?
We did. I mean, we put together an album to support the tour more than we put a tour together to support the album. Back in
Yeah.
the day, it was, whatever.
opposite.
But we were like, okay, let's put some music together just for fun. It wasn't really crazily, wildly promoted. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. I wouldn't say I'm totally, completely proud of that album. It's a cool album. It's good. We sound good on it, but it's not my favorite work that we've done.
How is, in your opinion, because that is interesting. So 15 years later, you're touring.
Yeah.
And just the whole thing. How has the music industry changed from when you were touring back to 98 Degrees, Britney Spears, you know, all those different people to today.
It's completely different. I mean, look, you used to, like I said, you used to try to tour to drive CD sales for the record company. They'd want you on tour to drive those album sales. Well, you know, downloads eliminated that, and the industry has sort of lacked and not found a creative way to catch up to that. There are plenty of ways you can do it and models out there, but they're always playing catch up as opposed to being innovative. So, you know, they gave pretty much the music side that do the records, the labels and whatnot, have pretty much given up on selling the albums. So that's why they're dipping into artists on 360 deals, meaning all-encompassing deals where they take a part of your writing, publishing, and your touring and your merchandising. And instead of, let's find a creative way to subsidize the cost of making a record and monetize the sharing maybe, or the downloading of the records by, you know, maybe cross-promoting it with an advertiser or something as easy as that.
Yeah.
They haven't really done that, or, you know, getting analytics as far as like your fan base and all that boring stuff. But you know, there are ways to do it. So yeah, that's gone. So you don't think people don't buy music anymore,
Yeah,
although
record
they
sales
still
is gone,
they still do. But you know, now it's about touring. You know, get on tour, but it's tough to get on tour without something on the radio as a commercial to drive the tour. But you know, you got to find ways to do it and keep yourself relevant. Social media is great. It's amazing. That was not available when we were out. I mean,
it's a game changer.
It's
in a way.
totally. I mean, I can't imagine if we had Twitter or Instagram when we
God.
were out.
Yeah.
We would. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
But we did have a message board. You could log on to the message boards though.
You had a website, right?
Post something, and then now I'm going to come back and there's going to be a reply.
You had TRL,
yeah.
right?
We had TRL.
Total
That was our
Request
thing.
Live. Yeah, Carson
and I
Daly.
think that's missing now though.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
there's
I
still
agree.
teenage girls all over the planet. They didn't disappear.
Yeah,
So-
they're busy taking selfies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Selfies. I know. I have a teenage daughter as
Yeah.
well, so I know all about it.
So how was it hanging out with Nick Lachey, Jude Lachey after all those years? Were you guys close after?
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty close, but you know, look, we were together for 2 months. Those guys had known each other forever, and they knew me for 2 months, and then all of a sudden we were thrust into the spotlight fairly quickly.
Okay.
And we were all raised really well, so you know, we knew how to take it on. It was crazy, but we knew how to take it on. But we were all work all the time. I mean, we had fun. But it was a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of competition with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC out there at the same time. And, you know, our label, like I said, they didn't quite know what to do with us. So, you know, we were stressed all the time. So we didn't have as much fun as we would have liked the first time around. This time we're like, we're having fun.
Yeah.
We're having fun, no matter what.
Yeah.
So we did.
You had a lot of fun.
That was the best. I mean, I could have stayed on tour forever.
Are you guys planning on doing that again? Was it a one-time shot?
I don't think you can top it.
No.
I honestly don't think you can top it. Unless, I think, I was telling somebody the other day, the only other thing that might be able to top that is if the big three from our generation came out together. But it would have to be NSYNC, Backstreet,
Boys,
98
and 90
Degrees. That's what it would have to be.
I would be there in a heartbeat.
And I think we might have got close with the Backstreet Boys, but NSYNC, I don't know if Justin will ever go back. And you really need all three of those groups. We'd sell out. That'd be sold out in 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, other than that, I mean, I was happy with that. I'll take the memory from that. I can feel it in my body,
Yeah.
the experience, and it was the best ever. I mean, outside of having my kids, that was awesome.
It was good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're on to newer things too with the Men on the Strip. So
Yeah, so I'll go from selling arenas to now dealing with strippers and stuff like that. So yeah, what a giant leap I've made.
well, you could turn the strippers into a whole, which is your idea,
We're trying
right?
to do. We're trying to do it. Like I'm going to release some music this summer.
Okay.
And some in the fall. I've got some really
So
contemporary
solo
stuff. Solo
you?
stuff. Yeah,
okay,
solo
so
stuff.
you're doing a solo. You did a solo thing a few years back.
A long time ago.
Yeah, and what was interesting is that you gave away that music for free.
Yeah, I did 2 solo projects. The first one I did out of my house. I was just learning how to do production, and our genre of music was gone, so I couldn't get signed. I mean, this was after we just sold 3 million records. I could not even get a record deal, so I just put it out on my own. Small project, not very well produced. I wasn't very good, and then I wanted to see years later, do we still have a fan base out there? All right, I'm gonna spend a little bit of money. I created another album, and I gave it away for free in exchange for email addresses. I wanted to see, can I still do this, or maybe I should move on to something else? And I collected almost 2 million, 1.5 million email addresses.
That's a ton.
It is a lot.
That's a lot.
And, you know, look, I mean, I think 300 and some thousand of them now are still active out of all those because people change and whatnot. But that's still a large email database. I could sell that.
Yeah.
But, you know, it worked. We still have fans. I mean, nothing's more gratifying or reinforcing to the idea than going on a tour where there's 20,000 people every night, but I didn't know. I didn't have that option. But yeah, I gave it away for free, and you know, it was critically, it did really well. I mean, I didn't make any money off of it. I'm like, okay, so I have all these. So I have all. I didn't. Yeah. So I have all these. All right, now what do I do with these emails? I just gave away a record. So you know, so I've had the emails or whatever sitting on them or whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to.
You'd have to figure out something else as well.
Something, yeah, instead of the album. Yeah, maybe do 2 albums.
Well, what's interesting is, what year was that when you did that?
2006, maybe 2007. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's a little bit ahead of the time in the sense of giving away things for free, because now when you go online and you go on anything online, the first thing they do is they always give something away for free to get those email addresses.
I mean, I thought it would work, and you know, I didn't know. I knew it was a success because of the number I collected, but I literally had some label people call me saying, "Do not do this. Do not do this."
In retrospect, do you wish you had charged or done it differently?
No, because it worked.
Yeah.
I just wish I would have figured out a way to
money.
monetize it. Yeah, well, you know, look, now, if I go do that now, I can go get a corporate sponsor to pay for the cost of the record, and to help me market it, you know? Now they'll be, oh, cool, you can get 1.5 million people to eyeballs on your website?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So is that what you're doing with your solo project now?
No, I'm doing it traditional way. I'm going to sell it. Go buy it. Okay.
No, free. That was a one-time
that's it. No, I mean, look, I always want to incentivize everything. I think I want to put out singles. I have an album's worth of material.
Okay.
But what I would like to do is do something on, I write and produce songs all the time. I mean, you know, my son is over here, and he's tired. He's been hanging with me all week, and we'll be doing press all day, and then I'll go into the studio at night till, you know, he's like exhausted.
Wow.
But, you know, I keep working, so I probably have 300 songs. So what I'd like to do is aggregate the fan base, get everybody active and aware that I'm doing this stuff, maybe sell a little bit of material. You know, I'm not going to make any money off singles, and then ultimately get them to subscribe to my website where they can go get content all the time. A new song every week, chats, live concerts, all kinds of stuff.
Would you do concert solo at any point?
Yeah, I would absolutely do solo concerts on there, acoustic sets, or have guests on there.
Yeah.
You know, house my own little are, kind of what you guys do, but for music, and maybe a platform for other artists as well. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, you are just done so much, which is amazing, and we're so excited to see your show.
Thank you.
And that airs this Sunday, June 1st, everybody, on E! What time?
10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, and Central 9 p.m.
Okay, great. So everybody, make sure you check it out this Sunday. And Jeff, thank you so much for being here.
You are fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You were awesome.
Thanks
it was so much fun chatting.
Thanks for doing the research. I'm so flattered. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in here. And make sure that you go online to AfterBuzz TV and that you rate us on iTunes 5 stars. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Jeff, tell everybody where people can find you on Twitter and Instagram.
Instagram, it's just at Jeff Timmons, both of those, and at Men of the Strip as well. And they have a YouTube channel too. Come check us out there, get our tour dates there, all that good stuff.
Awesome. And I am your host, Erika Garcia Rojas. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamEGR. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.